Hey, so I'm really excited right now. I just got this game right here, and I decided to get it on film, first class, whatever. Just got it off eBay, and it is going to be sort of a video game acquisition video, basically just to show an unboxing or an unpackaging of a video game that I got. So, let's get started. It is Kirby, actually. Kirby's Adventure. Forgot to mention that, but get that packaging open, rip it open, but keep the bubble wrap intact. Anyways, but there it is. Awesome game, awesome gameplay, and hopefully I will have a review up of it really soon, and as soon as I do, the link will be in the description down below, because I absolutely adore this game. I've actually played it on an emulator, and I like the music a lot better than its 2002 remake, Nightmare in Dreamland, which is actually a game that I grew up with pretty much when I was 10 and on. My brother had it. It is for the Game Boy Advance right here. Actually, this is my brother's, but I sold mine, so just to have a little bit of a idea. I had a SP, he had an SP, but we both grew up with Advance and Color as well. But Kirby, this will make an excellent addition to my collection of NES games that I am actually going back and actually looking for all the classics. But this one is awesome. It is epic. I will do a review of it, and like I said, link will be in the description. But I just kind of wanted to show, me tearing apart the packaging. I wish I had the box for it, and the manual, and maybe like one of those little, black cases, the black holders, like sleeve things that, you usually put in the NES games, but whatever, I'll take what I can get. Most of the other ones were like 20 bucks, something like that. I'm not going to spend that much on an NES game that I have played on an emulator for free. So, basically, like I said, Kirby, awesome game. Actually, it's called Kirby's Adventure, like I said, and it is for the Nintendo Entertainment System, which I have down there, which I'm not going to move the camera. Last time I did that to show my NES, it took me forever to get it back up. But anyways, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed Kirby. So I wasn't planning on doing this review, but fuck it. United World Rebellion, Chapter 1, by the new Skid Row. And, this extended play really should not have any sequels, because it's really bland, generic, monotonous, and just all-around bad. So, to get started, you got a little bit of a preface. Kings of Demolition is probably one of the most bland songs I've ever heard. The lyrics are really piss poor, to be honest. I mean, it's talking about zombie apocalypses and like cutting your throats out with words or something like that. It's just, it really does not flow. It doesn't make sense. And then all of a sudden he comes in, Johnny Solinger comes in with the chorus, "I'm the king of the demolition," and it really doesn't make any sense. So it's a copy paste, it's a carbon copy of Living on a Chain Gang. So thank you very much to a subscriber. I think it was Ryan Weist. So he told me that it was Living on a Chain Gang. That was the riff that I explained. That was like, I feel like I've heard this before. I really feel like I've heard this before in a bunch of other songs. And it was Living on a Chain Gang. So the production of Living on a Chain Gang and the rest of that Slave to the Grind album was what really set that riff and that song apart from the rest of pretty much every other song that used that riff. And it was a little bit different. It was done a little bit differently. And Sebastian Bach's vocals were epic on that song. On this song, no, not so much. What's his name? Johnny Solinger completely and utterly destroys this track in all the wrong ways. He practically rapes it with his voice. He tries to do a little bit of a Bach impersonation, as I said on, my Kings of Demolition single review. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about that one. And, next one is Let's Go. This one has an even more generic riff. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, it just sounds like it was put together and that they're strumming on the guitar just fine for the sake of a melody, and they're putting out this EP to hold off people for maybe a United World Rebellion Chapter 2. Maybe that one will be a full album. Only time will tell. Hopefully not. Hopefully they don't release anything more. I personally don't like them. But this is not meant to be a rage review, because I've already done that with my Kings of Demolition review. So, it'd be kind of pointless at this point. So, next one. This is Killing Me. This album is killing me. Just enough with the jokes. Jokes aside, This Is Killing Me is another bland track that pretty much returns to the heyday of Skid Row, actually. The Skid Row of punk revolution, the punk-esque Skid Row with Johnny Solinger. It sounds like it could have been off Revolutions Per Minute, and no, that is not a good thing. Skid Row heyday, fuck that. They had their heyday with Sebastian Bach. Anyways, This Is Killing Me, not the greatest song at all, not the greatest track, and I really can't really say anything else about it. So Get Up. This one is a little bit better than Let's Go and This Is Killing Me. This one actually has a little bit of a groove to it, a little bit of a catch, and, you know, as far as the vocals go, they're actually not that bad on this song. I mean, he's not trying to impersonate Bach, but he still has his own little style. I can't believe I'm saying that about Solinger, but he actually has some sort of drive in this song. He actually feels motivated. He actually sounds motivated. And same goes for Stitches. This is one that I actually dug. I actually really like this song. This is probably the highlight of the entire EP. Comes at the end, and, you know, it's been a long time coming. This song is actually pretty great. It's got a really catchy melody, catchy riff, and it's more guitar driven. Everything is pretty much spot on in this song, so there's really not much more I can say about it. So overall, this album, this EP, is bland, monotonous, generic, as I said before, and in no way attempts to reinvent Skid Row for the current age. And it also doesn't go back to their heyday, which was Slave to the Grind and their self-titled debut album. So that being said, it really doesn't go anywhere, and aside from Stitches, I really can't recommend this album to anyone. Overall, I'd probably give this album probably like 4 out of 10, to be honest. It's not as bad as, you know, some other albums that have been released this year, but, you know, it's not any good, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I'm really mixed, because the last song, Stitches, was actually kind of okay, and I'm really surprised that Skid Row could put out an okay song. You know, this album is better than Revolutions Per Minute, it's better than Thick Skin, but it's nowhere near Subhuman Race. It's nowhere near their debut, it's nowhere near Slave to the Grind. It never will be. And Skid Row probably never will be. In my opinion, they should just quit while they're ahead. Or behind, more so. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. Thank you very much for watching. This is Midnightstrike 3625. Keep calm and rock on. Ah! Linkin fucking Park. Fuck you! This album is fucking awful. It's garbage. It's just atrocious. But that would be glorifying it. 1,000 Suns. Linkin Park. This is an all-new low for music as a whole. Calling it noise would just be encasing it in diamonds. It's fucking awful. It is noise. It's not even music. It's fucking noise. Calling it music would just be putting it up on that golden pedestal above even Metallica, Dream Theater, fucking Sebastian Bach, Skid Row, and just everything. It's fucking awful. Half the songs are instrumentals. Half the songs don't even make any sense. They're all just noise. It's fucking awful. The vocals are bad. The melodies are monotonous. Everything about it. There's like, what, 15 fucking songs? And half of them are instrumentals? And they're just noise? It's fucking static. It's garbage. This album, I was looking forward to this album. I thought, hey, 1,000 Suns. It sounds fucking awesome. Holy shit. This is gonna be great. Then I saw the cover. The cover even sucks. It's a fucking blotch on a white screen, on a white background. It's a fucking black blotch. This was supposed to be Linkin Park returning to their roots after Minutes to Midnight practically bombed. Even that album is gold compared to this. Any album is gold. I honestly like this album. No. I was gonna say I like this album more than Lulu, but no. Lulu by Metallica and Lou Reed. Fucking Metal Machine music is better than this garbage. This album is the bane of my existence. It's just that awful. I was going through a hard time. right? I usually listen to Linkin Park when I'm going through a hard time. I was going through a very hard time when this album came out. I expected it to be one of those things where, you know, like Mike Shinoda had said, it's therapeutic listening to these albums, you know, like Meteora, Hybrid Theory, fucking What I've Done, and even with as bad as Minutes to Midnight was, with as mediocre and bland and generic rock as it was nowhere near as fucking horrible as this. This is just, okay, like, Minutes to Midnight had a few good songs, being Given Up, Bleeded Out, fucking What I've Done, and Hands Held High, okay? Hands Held High was very ambient, it was very atmospheric, and it had a certain feel to it. It wasn't necessarily fucking Linkin Park from the old days. It was fucking this album as a whole. 1,000 Suns. Go down. Burn in hell. I hate this album. Fuck! This is Midnightstrike 3625. This album does not even get a 0. Giving it a 0 would be like putting it on a golden pedestal, like I said, above everything else that sucks, that deserves a 0. Lulu, I Am the Table, fucking Metal Machine Music, Saint fucking Anger is better than this garbage. Hell, I would rather listen to Rebecca Black's Friday, Kesha, Justin Bieber, all that stuff. I would rather listen to that on repeat than listen to this. It's fucking noise. It's static. Robot Boy is monotonous. The Catalyst sounds like shit. Burning in the Sky sounds like elevator music. Wretches and Kings, no! Fuck no! The Radiance, noise. Iridescent doesn't have a cohesive melody to it. And every fucking song, aside from, say, The Messenger, I was expecting to at least find one good song on this album. I tried desperately to find a good song. The fucking Messenger. The Messenger! It is very, very monotonous. Very awful. Very underproduced. But at least the vocals sound good. At least there's guitars in there. So at least it's half decent. The vocals still sound like shit, though. The production is airy. It's staticky. It's just awful. If you want to get into Linkin Park, avoid this album at all costs. Hell, fuck, if you want to get into music, avoid this album at all costs. That is all. Keep calm and rock on with some good shit. Naughty Dog has been dormant for the last 2 years. Ever since the release of Uncharted 3, they've been working quietly, or not so quietly, about this game right here. This is going to be an unwrapping of Naughty Dog's The Last of Us, which is M for some weird reason. I don't think they've ever even released an M game, but this is a zombie survival horror shooter game that I could not be happier to unwrap right now, because I have been anticipating this game since a little bit after I started reviewing on my old channel back in 2011, back when it was first accidentally unveiled in a Easter egg for Uncharted 3. So yeah, I can't wait to play this shit. So I am probably going to stick this in my PS3 over there. I actually have a TV down there. If you've seen some of my earlier videos, I have a TV down there, but I can't wait to stick it in my PS3 because this shit looks awesome. So what I'm gonna take a scissors and just kind of slide it along. I really hate these wrappers sometimes. They're worse for CDs, but I guess they're not that bad for games. It's those fucking stickers that do it for the CDs. Hate unwrapping those. So this is going to be a short, sweet little video, basically showing off what it looks like. I really hope it has a manual. Ah! Hate how games don't have manuals these days. It does have this cool little... Oh, wow. What is this? Are these stickers? It has stickers. That's cool. What the fuck? Holographical, shiny Naughty Dog stickers. That's awesome. You can, like, see what's behind the camera right now. You can actually see my camera. See? But yeah, this is in a nutshell. This is The Last of Us right here. This is what the disc looks like. Pop it out so you can see what's behind here. There's Ellie, and then Joel is right behind the little insert manual thing. So if you look at that, that's pretty cool, actually. Black and white in a nutshell. Here's the disc. This game looks fucking sweet. But then again, I am just going off of the hype, so I might be disappointed. Who knows? I'm going to be reviewing it in probably a few weeks or so you guys can see what I think or how I feel about the game at that point in time. As of right now, though, I am fucking stoked to be playing this. I love the demo. It was really short, and I didn't really like the enemy design. I mean, the enemy design was good, but like the stealth kills just seemed a bit forced, in my opinion, or a little bit robotic mechanics, kind of. It seemed very similar, or very reminiscent of the stealth kills from Uncharted, which definitely still needed work, in my opinion. But other than that, the environments look fantastic. They look excellent, and I just, like I said, I could not be happier to be playing this game right now. This is Midnightstrike 3625. Keep calm and rock on. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Midnightstrike 3625, back for another review. So this time I am going to be reviewing an album that I probably should have gotten to a long time ago, but unfortunately it came out right before I got back to reviewing under my then new channel, Midnightstrike 3625. So that album is entitled Fire from the Sky, and it's by one of my favorite metalcore bands, Shadows Fall. So to get started, every song on here, or almost every song on here, is pretty good, very phenomenal, and it's one of my favorite albums overall when it comes to metalcore. So, like I said, the guitar riffs are just bursting with flavor, and the guitar work in itself is just very fantastic. Awesome screams, awesome cleans, awesome drumming and bass, and the production is very clear and very crisp. So really like the production and just everything it adds to the album as a whole. So when it comes to vocals, Bryan Fair is just an excellent pick because he knows how to infuse cleans with uncleans to form this kind of shout or yell where it sounds very, very harmonic. And when added into the vocal effects on, Nothing Remains, it just sounds absolutely perfect and killer. Especially with that song, of course, as it is my favorite song on this album. So it's pretty safe to say that this is my favorite Shadows Fall album, tied with maybe Retribution and The War Begins, or The War... Is it The War Begins? I'm kind of new... The War Within, sorry. The War Within. I'm kind of new to Shadows Fall when it comes to that stuff. I just actually got their discography a little while ago, and I've just been listening to it on repeat, practically. So that is what prompts me to do this review, is because they have, like I said, remained very, very consistent in their sound, and this is no joke. This is no different either on this album. It kind of adds a little bit more flavor with the leads, and you can definitely tell that they're sort of evolving a little bit into a more technical style when it comes to, say, the lead guitar and the rhythm guitar. So I really like where they're going with this, I must say. They're adding more of the effects into the vocals, and it just sounds really killer. So it kicks off with The Unknown, and I gotta say, just a burst of really frantic, really fast-paced guitar riffs, especially with the leads. It's just really great, and it sort of speeds up after a while and gets into more of like the screaming, shouting from Bryan Fair. Really good vocals and really good lyrics, close your eyes and live in the unknown, and it's just he screams, he shouts in some places, and it's just a really good song overall. The next one is Divide and Conquer. This one's kind of the same thing. It's very fast-paced, has very good guitar riffs, and like I said, really emphasis on screaming. Weight of the World is a little bit more mid-tempo. I really do like this song, but overall, when it compared to half the other material on the album, it's kind of filler. So the next one is my favorite song off of here. Not really necessarily my favorite Shadows Fall song overall, but it's up there. It's called Nothing Remains. It's a very mid-tempo song, very commercial, not necessarily radio-friendly, or to the point of being radio-friendly, moreover, but it does have that commercial flair to it, especially added in with the harmonics and the harmony, the vocal harmony, as well as with the shouting and just the overall presentation of the guitar work. So I do like the structure of this one. It's more straightforward than the rest of the songs on the album. It's not necessarily very technical, but it does have a pretty great solo in there. The next one, of course, is the title track, Fire from the Sky. This is my least favorite. Don't like the vocals, and I don't really like the guitars that much. I do like the rhythm of it and the overall structure, but I can't really get over the sound of the guitars personally. It's very like more mid-tempo-ish kind of song. So Blind Faith and Lost Within are kind of the same thing. It's a little bit more downbeat, but then it quickly just gets a little bit faster, and they're very heavy. I really like the songs, Save Your Soul and Blind Faith, of course, and just the vocals are very good, and the lyrics are especially very prominent. So Walk the Edge is the other one, and it begins very, very slow for some reason, but then it kind of picks up, like I said, like Save Your Soul and Blind Faith do, but to a more like mid-tempo / commercial style, such as Nothing Remains. So this is another commercial one. It has a lot of effects with the vocals, makes it sound a little bit more harmonic, and it does give off this very commercial vibe, but I do really like it. So, really good. The next one is, of course, the closer, and it is entitled The Wasteland. This is a very frantic, very fast, and just very overall aggressive sound and song from Shadows Fall, and it definitely showcases how well Bryan Fair can scream, or shout, or whatever you want to call his vocals. I don't really know. But, you know, when it gets down to it, this is a perfect closer for a very, very promising release from Shadows Fall. So this is their most recent album, and I can't wait to get my hands on their newer releases once they start releasing more material, and I can't wait to see, you know, it's going to be interesting to see where they actually take it from here, because up until this point, they have been very consistent. Will they continue the trend, or will they just go all the way out into, you know, bumfuck nowhere, basically, like All That Remains does? So, only time will tell, but for now, Shadows Fall, like I said, one of my favorite metalcore bands. Really like just the unique style that Bryan Fair adds to the band. So, with that, I'm going to give this album a solid 9.5 out of 10. Highly enjoyed it. So, thank you very much for watching. This is Midnightstrike 3625. Keep calm and rock on. Alright, hey guys, Midnightstrike here, and this is going to be a quick little intro video to what is going to be showing off 2 photos that I have already posted on Facebook, and I uploaded them a few days ago actually when the Super Collider for Megadeth album came out, and it was Megadeth's newest album, 14th, I want to say 13th because I don't really consider 13 a real traditional studio album by Megadeth, but you know, whatever, it's their 14th album, and you know, I gotta say, by the cover art, you know, it just doesn't really do it for me. I mean, a lot of the cover arts that have been released thus far in 2013, have really not done it for me at all. I've just, you know, not liked them. They've been bland, or they've just, you know, the colors have clashed, or it's just a really piss poor design, or just in general. But this one, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not exactly the best thing to come from Megadeth anyways. So, to get into it, the original cover, it was a like little warp thing. It looks like the inside of the Death Star pretty much. It's really weird. Like it's got like a bunch of washed out colors. You got your oranges, you got your yellows, your reds, your blues, and stuff like that. But they're just kind of smudged together, and they're like washed out. I don't remember the name of the facility that they used as a reference for this, but all they did was edit a photo and put a glare effect on it, but that glare effect really washed it out. Some people claim they see Vic in a reflection, a faint Vic. I don't see it. I can't see it. So, you know, sometimes less is more in the field of editing, so I just wanted to make my own little twist to it, and, you know, I made a little bit of edits. I used the original picture of the building or whatever they used, and I just went from there. So, you know, links in the description to the original Facebook photos, so, you know, you can save them if you want, if you really like them. but I just honestly want to know what you guys think, because, you know, I'm just gonna post here because more people check this out than my Facebook. So sad to say, but yeah, like me on Facebook. I have a Facebook, I have a Tumblr and everything. So if you want more Midnight Strike stuff, just check me out there, I guess. So I also posted these on Tumblr, so I'll link my Tumblr down there too. So yeah, and in other news, the song "Don't Turn Your Back" by Megadeth was released, or moreover, a preview of the song was released, and that will be the background music while I'm showing off my little edits, my editing skills. So you'll be able to hear that. And let me just say, upon first impressions, if this is what the album is going to sound like, I'm going to be kind of disappointed, because it sounds more like they're going back to their hard rock style off of, say, The World Needs a Hero. And that album really was crap, in my opinion. I did not like that album at all. I mean, maybe there were a few good moments on, like, Return to the Hangar, a little bit. It's nowhere near the epicness of the first one. And there were a few good moments on, dare I say it, Motorcycle. You know, aside from the chorus, the yeah, that. It's fucking dumb. But anyways, enough about that rant about The World Needs a Hero. I could make an entire movie off that, or an entire video. But if this is really, truly what the album is going to sound like, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. Because it sounds like they're going back to, you know, The World Needs a Hero 13, you know, cryptic writings a little bit, and, you know, that era, I guess. But, you know, I digress. So check it out for yourself, and, you know, I'm going to play it as soon as this is done. So tell me what you guys think. I guess this is Midnight Strike 3625. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the other stuff back there. Keep calm and rock on. Alright, so I'm going to try and review an album for you guys right now. Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold. So I am obviously not in a soberized state right now, so I don't know how this is going to go. Okay, so I just pulled up Avenged Sevenfold on my Windows Media Player right now. I'm going to name off the tracks for you guys and say what I think of them. Okay, so first one, Shepherd of Fire. It's a good song. It's got some heavy guitars in there, but it sounds like a clone of what we've already heard, aka Hail to the King. So, Hail to the King being the title track is supposed to be representation of what we are going to find on the rest of the album. So, it's kind of weird, because Hail to the King isn't exactly the best song on the album, in my opinion. At least, in fact, it's one of the worst. So, on my Windows Media Player here, I rated, like, 3 songs, 3 stars, because you can rate them up to 5 stars. And those 3 songs were Heretic, Crimson Day, and Hail to the King. So, Hail to the King, the song, isn't exactly the best song on the album. So, that being said, why include it as the title track? I mean, it doesn't even, like, it doesn't sum up what exactly the album is getting at all. So, I don't get it. I didn't really like Hail to the King that much. I thought it was kind of, like, okay, I liked the intro, but I didn't like the production on the intro, but I liked the actual, like, guitar structure, and the guitar work on this album is actually good. The guitar work on this album is actually really good, but as far as the song structures go, they're exact carbon copy clones of each other, and they just sound really weird. So, I don't know. I like the guitar work, but I just don't like the structures of the songs that they're kind of built after. Like, the guitar work is built around these riff structures that just seem like they're outdated. I don't know how to really describe it, but like I really like songs such as "This Means War," probably one of my favorites. Even though some people say it sounds like sad but true, but like I don't see it. Like I know it's structured the same way, but it doesn't actually have that same riff structure. I mean, I don't know. I could see where people kind of, make the comparison, but I don't really see it myself. So, my favorite songs are This Means War, Coming Home, and Planets. Those three songs alone just make this album that much better. But in terms of the album as a whole, I think it's kind of average. I think the self-titled album by A7X was a lot better than that, and that was me hitting my chair, so that was really kind of interesting. But yeah, it's just kind of a weird album because like I don't know, like it's more in the vein of like hard rock, like 80s, style, Judas Priest, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, but then again, that's what the band said they were gonna do, and M Shadows grew out his hair. And might I add, he actually sounds different. No, he looks different. He looks different in a good way, so yeah. He looks good. He looks better with long hair than he did with short hair. But then again, I have long hair, and I like, long hair, just in general. I think it looks better on people, so that's my opinion. We'll leave it at that. Anyways, Shepherd of Fire. Like I said, I was kind of going on a long random tangent here with stuff, but now I'm going to actually tell you what I think of all the songs. Shepherd of Fire. It's got some heavy mixes in there. It's got some heavy guitar work. The guitar work in this song is actually pretty okay, pretty decent. The solos are better than anything. Those are probably the best part, but in terms of the chorus and the vocals, they're very strained. They're very overproduced, it sounds, and I just don't really like just how he sounds in the song in general. But I do like the structure of the song, albeit, it's exactly the same as Hail to the King, but, getting back to it, it's just, I don't know, it sounds better than Hail to the King. So, Hail to the King is the next song. Track number 2, you already know my opinion on it. I thought it was average. I like the intro, but I don't like the production of the intro, and I've already said this in this review, so I don't know why I'm, restating it, but, I'm going in order, so I don't know. Gotta get some water. Yeah. Doing Time. It's an okay song. I actually kind of enjoy it. I like it better than fucking Hail to the King, but probably not as much as Shepherd of Fire. I actually, Doing Time, it kind of had this weird structure around the lyrics and the vocals that I couldn't really get into. I liked how heavy the guitar was, but that's not really saying much in terms of how good the song as a whole is. So This Means War. This is another one where people said, like I said, it sounds like Sad But True by Metallica on the Black Album, but, I don't see it. I know that it sounds the same in terms of the pacing and the tempo and just how the drums, the drums are, arranged and everything, but, I just, the riff is totally and completely different. I love the gravelly and gritty vocals, and I just like how hard-hitting the guitars are, and just, it sounds really good for what it is. I mean, you can call it a Sad But True ripoff if you want, but it still sounds phenomenal. I really like this song. They should have just called this album This Means War, for fuck's sakes. I mean, it would have been so much better if they would have released this as the beginning single. It actually sounds good. So the next one is Requiem, and it's kind of a carbon copy of This Means War, except for a little bit dumbed down, not blanded down. What am I talking about? Dumbed down version of This Means War. So the guitar work is good, but I thought kind of what the fuck am I listening to? Because Requiem has this weird opera-like intro, and it's like, what the fuck is this doing in a rock album? You know? Next one, Crimson Day. It's an auto-tuned mess. Next one, Heretic. Not really that memorable because I don't really remember it. And then there's Coming Home, which sounds really reminiscent of Iron Maiden, and I really like it. This is one of my favorite songs on the album. Next one, Planets. I really like this song too. Not really sure why, but it just has that really weird atmosphere to it. Acid Rain, next song. It's a slower song from the start, but you know, it gets kind of a little bit, you know, heavier and faster as it goes along. So this is overall a very different album from what Avenged Sevenfold is used to producing and, you know, releasing in terms of their releases. So, you know, cut them a little slack, and you know, I would only really recommend this album for like hardcore Avenged Sevenfold fans. If you're really into the band, stare directly at the actual digital live cam. That's what it says right now. Yeah, so I would really only recommend this for the actual fans, but you know, I'm gonna rate it probably like a 7 out of 10. 6.5, 7.5, somewhere in there. So that's really all I have to say. And you know, like, I mean, I say this in all my videos, you know, don't really know why, but it's just one of those things. Actually, I needed a catchphrase, so that's why I say it. But keep calm and rock on. There's the camera. What's up, Midnight Strikers? I am back with another game review, and today we're going to talk about a PlayStation 4 launch title, namely Killzone Shadowfall. This was the second game that I got for the PlayStation 4, and the first actual native PlayStation 4 game. I actually obtained Injustice Gods Among Us as my first PS4 title, but as soon as I got the console itself, I picked this one up at the same time. If you've seen my PlayStation 4 launch videos, you will already know that. My first two games, this and Injustice, basically. So this, along with Battlefield and Call of Duty Ghosts, were the trinity of first-person shooters launched on next-gen platforms. Which one is better? I would probably have to go with either Killzone right there or Battlefield 4, because I can't stand Call of Duty Ghosts. I can make an entire rant video on why I think Call of Duty sucks nowadays, and why I think it's pretty much a cancer to the first-person shooter market, but I won't go into it. Today we're going to be discussing Killzone Shadowfall. I could hold up the disc a million times right now, but basically Killzone Shadowfall, this is going to be a review focusing solely on that game. So, you are Lucas Kellen, you are a soldier charged with keeping the peace between the humans and the Helghast, and in that, the plot is very confusing, and sometimes it just seems a little forced. The dialogue is a bit cliche and contrived, if not a little bit also overblown as well, and sometimes when you're just trying to get the feel for what's going on in the plot, it doesn't exactly give you a helping hand. The gameplay, on the other hand, is actually pretty decent for a first-person shooter market, or for a first-person shooter game, I should say, because it actually feels like the guns are doing damage. There are so many other first-person shooters out there, you know, Battlefield, Call of Duty, and stuff like that, that basically your guns feel helpless. Your guns feel powerless unless you have all the stats, like, raised up on them. These guns, you actually feel like you're killing them. You actually feel like you're doing some damage. There's only, like, maybe 1 or 2 spots in the game where I think it's the end of Chapter 7 or something like that, where you feel completely helpless because there are just swarms and swarms of enemies coming in at you, and it's just you basically defending yourself. There was one part, going off on a little tangent here, there was one part in that, I think it was like The Fall or something like that, I forget what it was called, it was Chapter 7, but enemies kept respawning. You could literally see them respawn. It was like they came out of nowhere, like literally just appearing out of nowhere. And it was fucking annoying because they just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And I'm just thinking, come on, what do I have to do? The game doesn't tell you anything. I mean, one could say that it doesn't baby you, it makes you think. such as first-person shooters like Red Faction, but sometimes a little bit of help would be appreciated, I guess. I mean, in Red Faction's case, yes, you did have to really think on how to get through the levels, and it kind of challenged you to make those critical choices, critical decisions, but in Killzone Shadowfall it doesn't work as well because it just seems like it's just really confusing in some places. Like, the confusion doesn't necessarily reside in whether or not you have to go a certain way, but sometimes it's just getting through a certain door. Some doors are locked, some doors are not. There's no way to tell if it's locked or if it's not. I mean, you can't just go through it. It doesn't say anything. And you don't really necessarily get a map either. It's just really, really annoying and frustrating and tedious as well. Overall, I mean, like, it's a decent game, but not one that I would necessarily recommend for hardcore shooters or for hardcore shooter fans. Anyone who wants to get into like the casual gaming market, I suppose, and just kind of wants to have fun online, maybe. I haven't played this game's online yet, but I will get to it in a little bit, so I'm not going to actually rate this game's online, Killzone's online, but this was my first Killzone game, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because I hear that Killzone 2 was loads, and I mean loads better than this one. Now, Killzone Shadowfall, by all means, isn't a bad game at all. It's actually a fairly decent one if you take out the plot, if you take out some of the frustration in the beginning levels, as well as the spawning enemies out of nowhere in the later levels. If you take all of these out, just focus on the middle levels. Like, there's a level where you have to actually just drop in through an apartment that's under construction with a bunch of your fellow troopers. That is a lot of fun. There's a level where you are trying to fight for your life aboard these giant monorail trains. That's a lot of fun. If they would have focused on the design versus just the graphics and the lighting effects and all this other stuff, if they would have focused on the actual gameplay, on the actual plot, I think this would have been Game of the Year. I think this would have been a much, much better experience. So, with that, I am probably going to give this game, Killzone Shadowfall, a 7 out of 10. It's just shy of, it's just a little bit better than average, just shy of meeting the great mark. So, with that, thank you very much for watching. This is Midnightstrike 3625.